Hi, just going to do a short video looking at setting up a home page or a landing page inside of Cargo. Okay, if you've not previously done this, we're working with the particular way of structuring your pages, and we're using sets. So just to do that, inside the Contents tab here, you just click on the plus button, hit a set, and give the set an appropriate name. So I've got a home set. And inside there I've got a home page header and a home page. I'll turn the header off for a moment, and that's that little arrow there. Just go to the right hand side, click on the little arrow, it just appears, downward arrow, just press it, and you can make this, you can pin it or unpin it. For the moment I'll unpin it. I'll show you what's going on there in a moment. But first things first, let's look at the home page. So the home page, currently inside its local design tab here, so just to clarify, every page has a local design area where you can change things specific to just that page. Then the whole website is controlled by a global design tab over here, so that's the one at the top. And this one basically affects everything on the website. So for example, if I were to go in here and change the H1 typeface, I would be influencing every page on the website. If I change the typeface just on the home page, if I change the H1 typeface here, I would be just affecting that page alone. So I click on there, and basically I'm affecting. In fact, I'm saying that I'm not even sure I can change the typeface here, but I can change the size and the color of that H1 typeface there. I probably can if I go into the CSS or HTML, but we're not going to do that. Okay. So inside my home or on my landing page, I'm using a feature called Wallpaper, which for the moment I'll turn it off just so you can see how it works. So there it is, turned off. So in effect, the page currently has absolutely nothing in it. Its background is transparent, so just to evidence that, if I change that color there, you can see the background page, the background color changes simultaneously. So I'll say, yep, I'm happy with that. I'll save that. I'm not going to put any text on this page. I'm just going to use it as a place to put my landing image for the time being. Now, I've got options here. I could potentially just drag an image on and treat this image through these options down here. I could scale and position and present that image. But there's another way of doing it, and for your landing page, I think this is probably a better way of doing it. So I'll just select that and delete it. This lorem ipsum top left-hand corner, it's just a type holder. You know, it's basically encouraging you to write something in there, but you don't have to. What we're going to do is we're going to use the backdrop wallpaper option. So the wallpaper option, when I click on it, basically allows me to select an image, and it will fill the whole page with that image. So I've got an image here, and it's filling the whole window. Now, we can add lots of images in there. We could even add a video in there, and we could maybe create a slideshow, etc. But for the time being, in the short time that I have for this video, we're just going to put one image in. I have discussed with you previously the other options inside the backdrop, like gradient and various animation options that you've got in there. So basically, once you select an image, this polygon one, for example, will influence the image that's been selected, and you can play with that. And some of the stuff that you've been doing is looking, I think, really good. You know, there's kind of some really nice stuff going on. There's lots of, I particularly like that ISO option with very few cuts. Quite like that kind of geometry, but that's for another time. It's pretty cool, but it's a really nice idea. It takes an image and it abstracts it through geometric interpretation using an algorithm, which is really nice. And I can see why people would use it, particularly designers. I can see why they would use that, but for us, for the time being, I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to use the wallpaper option and that image. So I'm going to hit save. And so the whole of the backdrop is now filled with that image. So go back to the content. So you're frequently just clicking back to go either to the main content area or the page that you're working on. So we've set this page up and we've used the backdrops. And none of these features need to be clicked, or you can if you wish. So like, for example, the 100% height one is going to make sure that the whole of the page is filled with it. I think once that's filled, these aren't going to make any, they're not going to make any difference, but we could, or that actually, that width, we'll deal with that width later on when we actually put another element inside or on top of this background. But as you can see, the color is no longer being displayed because the backdrop is filling the whole page at 100%. So if I turn that off, still can't see this because actually the backdrop is overwriting whatever is behind there, whatever color is sitting there behind there. So my backdrop is going to be 100% in this instance. And what I now need to do is drop in some kind of additional header at the top with my name on it. Okay. So in order to do that, I'm just going to go back to my content, save changes, frequently request that you do that, and then I'm going to go to my homepage header, and this time I'm going to turn the pin on. And the pin basically is saying that this band of color and this text that I put in here is going to be pinned on top of that page. And what you can do is you can go into the pin settings and determine how this band, this top header, sits on the page. So there are various options. You can also determine do you want it being shown on your mobile and your desktop site. Inevitably you do, so have those clicked. I'm just using overlay to begin with. There's no need, I'm not doing anything particularly demanding, so I don't want it to influence any other elements. If I did, I might click the adjust, at which point it would push any other elements on that page, it would push them down. It would sit kind of at the top of the page and push them down the page a little bit. But overlay is absolutely fine. The text type that I've got is selected as H1, and the H1 actual font that's being used is controlled here in the global design, which is this one. So if I choose that, you'll see that my name changes slightly as I go through those options. And it's up to you how you want to play that. I think that's where I was originally. Yep, that'll do me. Okay, so that's the global design area that allows you to change the type of font. And also, this is a global color, so it's got a global color of green currently. I'll just make that white. If it was turned into a link, it would assume the link color. Again, I'll just make that red so that it's very clearly different. We're not using it at the moment, but if we did. So we're going to go back to content, going back to homepage header, and I'm just going to hit return, the return key once, and in doing so basically I'm creating an additional space there now, space beneath the header. Now that's one way of creating space. Another little way of creating space, go to design, and this time you can use the padding option. So click on the three little buttons and we can say padding from the top. I can push it down, let's say padding from the top, I'll say 1.5. I could say 1.5 for absolutely everything to begin with as a kind of global command. So I could say 1.5 for everything, and then maybe from the top I want a little bit more padding, maybe something like that. Okay, so I'll go for 2.5, just keep things nice and regular. Okay, looks good. So I've also got a background color there, and I've used a slight opacity as well, just to give it a tint and let some of the image come through, but at the same time just give it a color. And it's up to you how you want to frame that. I do quite like that black and white, but I'm just going to go into that zone there and use a tone like that. Okay, good. Alright, so I've got a background image, I've got my name on there, I've got my menu button. I'll just show you about this menu button, how it operates. So I'll go and get across to Global Design. Scroll down to see Site Menu, and you can see it's currently positioned on the top right hand corner. I'm going to configure the menu, and when you get into this configure the menu, basically by turning on and off these blue buttons, you can add or remove pages from your menu system. Okay, pretty simple. There are a couple little other things to be considered here. If you want to change the icon, so currently it's top right hand corner, beg your pardon, and if I go into Edit CSS, I can look at the color. So I can look at the color and the padding and the size, etc. But you do that through the cascading style sheet shortcut, which is CSS. And basically this is a kind of like global style sheet that is determining how each browser picks up and interprets the HTML code. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the color and the size and the padding. I've done that previously, so I'm going to leave those as they are, but you can experiment with that in the Edit CSS. If you do experiment, it might be better just to take the text like this, copy it, put it into a text editor, and then you have a backup just in case you go in here and do something wrong and you can't remember what you did. And it's good to have it as a kind of backup in a text editor. Okay. So hit save. It frequently wants to save, and now when I click on there, I get my menu. Of course, the background's editable, the font type's editable, the color's editable, etc. But very quickly, I've got a background, I've got a header, I've got a menu system, and that was under 12 minutes. Okay, I'll stop there.